Hey, Ricardo here. This is Stoic Answers. Power is more than life, not by its mere continuation, nor by its multiplication, but by life's being raised to a higher level of capacity and control. Power is transition to a higher level as self-overcoming. The point to my life is my growth or strengthening, and this lies not merely in expanding, but in ascending, which involves overcoming previous states of myself. This was wrote by John Richardson in the book Nietzsche's Values, which I want to read but haven't read yet. So today I want to talk about Nietzsche's will to power again, but I want to divide this into something that you can use to achieve the highest goals that you may have, and to lastly, by the end of the video, being motivated enough and clear in your head that if you grab all those things, put them into Google Calendar, and then start working to it, something really great is going to happen. So that's basically it. So let's begin with the idea of will to power again. So the idea of will to power is this idea of Nietzsche that what you really want is not happiness, you don't want wealth, what you really want is power and the enhancement of yourself. So how I understand this is that, think about, for example, the hottest girl that you knew in high school, and think about who you were back then. If you ask me, I wasn't the most confident guy, the guy that could say, hey, what's up, and just go and ask for a date, you know? I mean, I did that, but not with the hottest girl of high school. And still now, I still struggle a little bit to go like with the cutest girl that I can find and just feel confident enough to go and do it. And this kind of relates to life as well, because I believe what Nietzsche is talking here is this overcoming of yourself, of really being honest with yourself and finding that part of yourself that wants to be super powerful and kind of feed that. So if you were honest to yourself, what would you be doing with your life, right? If you wanted to do the grandest thing, if this power within yourself would be liberated and going for whatever, right? So that would be the power that I believe Nietzsche is talking about here. So if you ask me, for example, I would love to do a lot of stuff. I would like to have this combination of culture, philosophy, reading books and sharing the books with people and sharing ideas, and also, I don't know, becoming kind of like an Indiana Jones with my mountaineering business. And so I have all these ideas that I have that they are not clearly articulated, but I kind of know where I want to go. And that's the thing. Where are you in that regard? So the first thing would be that, like, being honest with yourself and thinking, how could this be done? And this is something that you begin to think maybe when you're older. And this is the famous memento mori of Stoicism, that you become conscious that you are actually going to die. For myself, I think it really just began hitting me like 2 years ago or something. Maybe not that much. I guess when I was 28, I'm 32 right now. And I'm talking about the feeling that you are actually gonna die. So when you're young, you have all these things that you would want to do, right? Like, yeah, of course I'm gonna date the hottest girl later in life. Of course I'm gonna do this later in life. Of course I'm gonna have this by this time in my life. But then you start growing older and you realize that life is not always the way you thought it would be. And it's definitely not gonna be the way you thought that it would be if you don't actually get to work on the things that you need to work. And you need to realize this, like, the sooner the better. that you realize this. And for myself, I don't know, you start seeing your parents grow old, you start seeing your friends having kids, and you start thinking about the stuff that you would actually want to do and what you would actually need to do for that to happen, and it's not going to be perfect, but you need just that feeling to be there, to be able to be pushed by yourself and by your mortality to actually do the stuff that you want to do while you're alive. So, and it's hard because say that you realize that and some stuff that you would like to do, but then you start doing it and you have no success at all, like Steven Pressfield. And Steven Pressfield talks about this being the resistance. Steven Pressfield is this writer that wrote a magnificent book called The War of Art. And in The War of Art, the basic idea is that there is this enemy within you that is called the resistance. And that every time that you want to do something great or something that will push you towards the person that you want to be, like Friedrich Nietzsche, will to power, I would argue, you feel this resistance within yourself, and you feel these feelings of shame, of nervousness, of of being anxious about the things that you want to do, because you will suck at first, of course, like anything. But then that's why it's the war of art, because you have to crush that, and then you have to fight your way through it and get to the place of overcoming of yourself that you want to get. And Nietzsche taught about this as well, because that resistance is not something you should hate even. It's something that is just part of yourself. And that's the part that is actually giving you meaning, because if you weren't afraid of anything, you would not be able to be the hero that is overcoming the things that he's afraid of. So in that regard, you have to be grateful for the fear that you feel about the stuff that you want to do. So that's a fight that you have within you that you have to overcome. And it's usually only being conscious. You're only being conscious about it once you realize that you're gonna die and that you do have to put time into the things that you want to do. So, yeah, how to go about this? So you're looking for power and you're looking for this overcoming, and then you realize that you're gonna die and that you would actually like to date the hottest girl that you can date, and that you actually want to do the coolest stuff that you would want to do, right? So what happens when you don't really know what you want to do? And I believe this is why journaling is so important. Journaling is just grabbing here it is. It's the one that I use, and with time I just use a really simple notebook, because I write about anything that comes to my mind, the word thoughts that I have, and whatever that crosses my mind. Journaling is important because here you can express anything that you're thinking. And sometimes when we are thinking about the stuff that we would like to do, we don't have a precise idea of even who we are and what we would like to do. So what I do is that I start writing here, and I write about the things that I would like to do, and it changes over time, and it's complicated, and this needs to be a conversation with yourself. But the thing is that when you start that dialogue with yourself and it becomes a habit, you start to see patterns of the things that you like. For example, for me, I love walking in the outdoors. I like planning like adventures, mostly on myself, for me to be able to go and photograph. And I don't know, I like reading, I like culture, I like to be informed about the things that are happening and talk about that, write about that. But it's weird, right? Because I like so much stuff, but that's what makes me special in a way, that I like geopolitics and at the same time I like outdoors and photography. So what can I do with that combination, right? And that's the hard part, because you'll have to come to grasp who you are, what do you like, and then when you write about this stuff, the next step is to develop actual steps that you can take and actual goals first, I would say, towards you can work. So if you don't write it, you're not gonna get anywhere. Like I have a mountaineering business with my partner, and we have a ton of calls and meetings in which we discuss what would be awesome to do with the company, right? And yeah, we have all these grand ideas that never come to happen, and they never come to happen because we don't write them down. And because we don't write them down, like, we forget about stuff. I'm gonna be working in an hour from this video, and I do tend to forget about a lot of stuff that I need to do. So once you have that dialogue with yourself, once you develop those goals, the more specific the better. And if you can just grab maybe one thing that you would like to be doing, I would just go with one, because life it gets complicated, man. So once you do that, you need to put it into Google Calendar. But I have an idea first, because before we wrap up to the Google Calendar thing. And the idea is this, that, like, for example, for myself, I when I sit down to work and I do, for example, this video that I shoot right now, and I do like a little post on Instagram, or I read a little article that is gonna help me think for the next article that I want to write, or this little stuff that gets you forward in the things that you want to do. You know, it feels like like when you're like when you want to lose weight and then you go eat a salad and nothing happens. Like, nothing happens. And it's just the same with these things. You feel like things should happen in a, like, I don't know, faster, and they don't. And the thing that I've come to realize with my life is that, for example, I'm pretty fit because I have to go to the mountains, and I have to stay in really good shape for me to be able to do my job on the weekends. And what you realize is that you have to change who you think you are. For example, with myself, now I think about myself as a fit guy. I just do exercise. I do burpees. I go for a run. It just became a part of who I am as a person, and I enjoy it now. I enjoy it because it's who I am, and every time I do that, it's like, yeah, that's it. Like, I don't not think about that anymore so much. And losing weight is just the same thing. Like, you have to become the kind of person that eats healthy, that instead of going for a Coke, goes for water. And like, I do eat I don't know, shitty food from time to time, but mostly I eat the right food, right? And with this, it's just the same. It's just the same. Like, if you are choosing to see that power within yourself and that grandness, and you actually want to date the hottest girl and go for the grandest goal that you have, and be honest with yourself with the things that you write, and really go for that stuff, you have to start thinking about yourself differently, because you're going to have to change your habits. And changing your habits, it's really hard at first, but you have to, for example, think of yourself as a thing that you want to be, and then choose the habits that you would need to do to become that kind of a person, right? And yeah, and it's hard. I mean, what can I tell you? I'm shooting this video and it's not easy. It's like the third time that I do it. But the more I do it, the more I work with my resistance and with that battle I have within myself, the better I'm gonna become, the better warrior I guess I'm gonna be in this regard, and I'm gonna be better and better. And that was the argument of Nietzsche, that there is nothing better than having great challenges and be able to overcome them. And that's the overcoming of the will to power. That you're powerful and you go for the stuff that you want to go. So, to wrap up, you have this grandness within yourself, right? And you're honest about it. So you know that you're gonna die, and then there is really not that much time to do the stuff that you want to do. So you embark in actually doing the stuff that you want to do. So it's hard to put all this in order. So what you have to do is you have to grab a notebook, and then you have to start journaling and being honest with yourself about things that you want to do, and being honest with yourself about your life and the things that you actually have to do, because you have to eat and that you have to earn money, but at the same time you want to be great in some areas. And how do you go about that? So lastly, what you need to do is to divide the goals, the grand goals that you have, into little tasks. For example, if you want to shoot, I don't know, photography, for example, I've been thinking about this, of documentary photography. What I thought is that, okay, if I would want to be a documental photographist, I think that's the way you say, what would I have to do? So I have my cell phone, I have Instagram. What I would do is that I would go to, I don't know, I live in Mexico, so right now you know that it's kind of a dangerous. So maybe I could shoot pictures of the police, and I could go and talk with a policeman and ask him, what's your job like? It must be really hard, like being a part of a corrupt system and at the same time being afraid for your life. This must be fucking hard. You know? That's actually interesting. And then I would write about that stuff and take some pictures of the guy, and then I have my first photograph there, and then I can do that 3 times a week or something. So for Stoic Answers, for example, I'm doing it 3 times a week, and it has become a habit now that I sit down Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I work on this. Other days as well, but those are my main days. And I put that in my Google Calendar, that I have to do a post each of these days. I have to do a YouTube video every week. I have to do the 2 posts, the one that you pay for, the one that is free, and I do that every week. And it's good because I'm organized in Google Calendar with the things that I want to do. So I broke the stuff down to be able to see it in a way that would make me able to achieve the big goal of having some success with this, and being able to get stoicism out to people and grow with people while I grow myself, because this will not work if I don't grow while I do it. I believe that's the only way you will grow as well, because it's really the only way. So I do have to do the stuff myself so that you can actually understand how this goes. So this was a long video, and I hope it helps you. I hope it works. So think about power, think about your grandness, think about the hottest thing that you would like to achieve. Divide, know that you're gonna die. Put that all in your journal. Get to know yourself. Get to know the goals that you want. Divide all those goals into little stupid things. Make a habit of being the kind of person that do those little stupid things, and be fine with those little stupid things not getting you anywhere for a long while. And then put all those little stupid things in the Google Calendar and just do them, man. And do them, and do them, and do them, and do them. Steven Pressfield didn't got anywhere with his books until he was 50 something years old. and I hope it doesn't take that long for us to do the stuff that we want to do, but it may be, but it's about keeping at it. So, yeah, I will see you on the next episode of Stoic Answers. I'm Ricardo, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to get this video to you every week. And I will see you on the next episode of Stoic Answers. Bye-bye.